Hello everyone and welcome to the Butt Fumble Sports Show on this Thursday. I hope your work week is going incredibly well. I hope life is going incredibly well. I hope you are extremely pumped about the fact we are 2 weeks away from the NFL season kicking off. 2 weeks away from opening night of the NFL season. If you're not ready, if you're not excited, make sure you check your pulse because you might be dead. This is the best time of year for a lot of sports fans, and I certainly count myself amongst them. Fantasy football, it is prime time for drafts. If you have questions, we're here for you on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it these days. We are live across all of our platforms. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're a member of the best community of sports fans across all of social media. Welcome to the Butt Fumble Sports Show, everyone. Our channel is about creating great content, hopefully entertaining and informative content for you real sports fans out there. We do sports betting research. We give out picks every day based on the trends that we research. And we give out fantasy football advice based on all the research we do throughout the week. Hope you guys are going to be following us throughout the course of the football season. It's going to be a great year, everyone. We're closing in on college football kicking off. Maybe you're into week 0. Maybe you're still waiting for the bigger matchups to get going. But for me, 2 weeks away from NFL kickoff, this is a beautiful time. This is chef's kiss beautiful time because we've got drafts going on. Excited for everything that we have. Let's get at it, everyone. If you did come for my MLB picks, first of all my picks are available every day for free on the SHARPZ app. I know there are other people on social media that create content like mine, but they charge for their picks or they put them behind a paywall. I think that's ludicrous, stupid, horrible thing that they do. I give away my picks for free every day. DM me on Instagram, ButtFumbleSports. I give you access to every pick I make every day for free. I'm not a betting expert. I just like to study trends, data analytics, matchups, because I like to bet on sports myself. I've had a background in sports analytics through media at Fox Sports, ESPN, CBS Sports. So I love doing this research anyways. If you want to see what picks I'm making every day, DM me on Instagram. I give them away for free on the SHARPZ app. That said, my picks for the day are already up on the board. We had a very good start to our day. Nationals money line. Rockies Nationals over. Brewers Cardinals under. Cardinals plus 1.5. Cubs on the money line. It's actually been a perfect day so far. Knock on wood. That probably means you should fade us in the evening games. But that said, we give out our picks. We give out also the trends behind them. More and more, I'm not just putting up the picks, but I'm also giving the trends so you guys could literally look it up yourselves. Here's a perfect example I wanted to show you guys of how we're kind of giving out more of our picks every day throughout the show. So I put this pick up on the SHARPZ app anyway so you can find it there. But I'm going to pull this pick that actually is why we're going with the Pirates tonight. Pirates on the money line is what I'm advocating. That's one of the picks I like. Since June 1st, the Pirates, following a loss when they've been a home favorite of 140 or less, they're 9-0 straight up. You heard that correct. Paul Skeens on the mound tonight. Right now, the line where I'm seeing it is at about minus 137, minus 135, when the line has been minus 140 or less for the Pirates following a loss at home. They are 9-0 since June 1st, so that's a pick we're giving out. That's one of many picks that we right now have up on the SHARPZ app. Again, DM me on Instagram if you want my picks for free, or just go to the SHARPZ app and look up Butt Fumble Sport, no S on that one, and you can find every bet that I make every day for free. Appreciate those who have come for fantasy football advice. We're certainly here to help you guys out as well. I know a majority of our questions are going to be focused on fantasy football, so I wanted to get the sports betting research aspect out of the way. I'm going to keep my picks up on the board. If you're watching on YouTube, X, Twitch, or Kick, the picks are up on the board. You can see them right now. If you're watching on Instagram and TikTok, we're going to do a lot of fantasy football work, so we're going to focus in on there. If you want to check out the picks, SHARPZ app, or go over to YouTube and look up on the big board we have up on the screen. Otherwise, let's get into some fantasy football talk, everybody. Let's get at it. 5th pick in the full PPR. Who would you take? Breece Hall, if he's available. He's probably gone by that point. I would take Bijan Robinson at 5th overall, unless Christian McCaffrey has fallen. If Christian McCaffrey's there, it's between him and Bijan, actually. That's where I would consider it. Ken, how you doing today? Pick 7 in a full PPR. Who you taking? Similar story. So, Breece Hall, he's going to be gone. Bijan, he's going to probably be gone by 7. Christian McCaffrey, he's probably gone. The next running back I would take is Jonathan Taylor. If you're looking wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, great spot to take him at 7. Now, obviously, there are going to be a couple wide receivers that fall at 7. Might be a Jamar Chase. Might be a Tyreek Hill. That would surprise me. But really, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is the one who's going to have the best season this year. Not how they performed in the past, but the best season this year. Big fans, all racing. Picks number 4, running back Bijan, wide receiver. If you're picking number 4 and Breece Hall's already gone, I would lean towards Bijan. Yes, I think that is a good pick. Dante Williams, great to see you. Dante, you've been such a loyal viewer for us for the last few years. Appreciate you tuning in today. D. Graham 4, what are your thoughts on Kenneth Walker as my RB2 this year? Really like that. If you're counting on Kenneth Walker III being your RB1, I'm skeptical. RB2 I feel differently about. Now, I do think Zach Charbonnet will continue to kind of take some of his carries between the 20s, but I think in the red zone, Kenneth Walker III is going to be the red zone back, and I think this is a year that's make or break for him in his career overall. I actually like making that kind of bet on him. Again, not as an RB1, but as an RB2. Savannah, hi, hope you're having a great day. Happy hour. Amari Cooper for Derrick Henry. Should I do it? Are you getting Derrick Henry? As consistent as Amari Cooper has been, I actually like that deal because even though I think Derrick Henry might be regressing and Amari Cooper will stay steady, there is more value in an RB1 in what is still going to be a heavy run-based offense in the Baltimore Ravens. Dummy man Pluto got the 6th overall pick in a 12-man PPR. Should I go after Jamar or get a running back and MGH in the 2nd? The answer is the latter. Running back at that number 6 spot, get a wide receiver in the 2nd round if you want to do it. I'm always going to advocate for running backs early. It is harder to get elite running backs the later round you go. Wide receiver, we can find studs in almost every round. I know that sounds barbaric right now. I know it sounds ludicrous, but Puka Nacua, for some people, he was a waiver wire pickup last year. He turned into one of the best fantasy owns at the wide receiver position. Hard to find the same thing at running back. Kyron Williams, you could argue, did that, but it's so hard to find. So get your running backs, lock it in, dummy man Pluto. Coop 5 Mac, great to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Rob McDonald, would you keep McLaurin for a 3rd round pick? That's a tricky one. I really like McLaurin, but frankly, 3rd round is probably actually earlier than I would draft him. He's really going right now in 4th earliest. I'm seeing 5th rounds. So actually, I feel like there might be some other players you want to keep over him because you could probably get him at a later round than 3rd. Is Saquon a reach at 6? I think he is, and in part it's because that offense is so dynamic. We have to remember, he goes from the Giants, where he was just going to get fed the ball a ton, to an Eagles offense that, though it has a great offensive line, and they certainly value the running game, he is a piece, and he will get the ball less often. Jalen Hurts, even if he gets a tush-push for even a couple touchdowns, that takes away from Saquon's value. So actually, at 6 overall, I think Saquon's a bit of a reach. Breece Hall and Bijan may be gone. I think Jonathan Taylor is a better own than Saquon if you want to get a running back in the 1st round. Don't overlook Jahmyr Gibbs just because the hamstring injury. I think he's a late 1st round pick rather than a mid 1st round pick, but I still think there's value there. Could Higgins be a good flex this year? Jeremiah, the answer is yes, because he is actually someone who will be a failing wide receiver 2. He'll be a good to failing wide receiver 2, which makes him actually a decent flex play, because then it's about his week-to-week matchups rather than just locking him into that position game week over week, and I think he's going to be better matchup-based than he is just locking him in. Jackson, what do you think about David Montgomery as an RB2? This year, I'm not sure if I like it. If Jahmyr Gibbs is hurt, if he doesn't play as often, I feel differently about it. But right now, again, I feel like David Montgomery is a better flex play than it is a lock-in RB2. First pick in my draft tonight, dude. Who should I go with? Coop 5 Mac, I'd go CeeDee Lamb. If you want to go wide receiver, if you want to go running back, I would go Breece Hall. Breece Hall would be my first overall pick if you do want to go running back. Is this finally the year of Kyle Pitts? I took another chance on him. D. Graham 4. I actually do think this is going to be the year Kyle Pitts breaks out, but I know we've said that in the past. Here's my reasoning behind it. He finally has solid quarterback play. I also think the offense is dynamic enough around him where he won't draw as many double coverages. There will be threats all over the field. On the other hand, the tight end position is so loaded that you can take Kyle Pitts and get someone else like a Brock Bowers, a Jake Ferguson, a David Njoku, and you can play them in tandem, and that way you're not overly reliant on Pitts. I would actually advocate for that because Kyle Pitts either has great weeks or he is Casper the Friendly Ghost, gone, nowhere to be seen. So you want to make sure you have a few options and you're not overly reliant on him because that's where I feel like he fails people. Appreciate you joining the show. We will be talking fantasy football all season long, so make sure you hit the follow button. Butt Fumble Sports. Yes, I really did start a company called Butt Fumble Sports. We talk fantasy football, sports betting, and just rant about what's going on in the sports world every single day. Cody, I have Jamar Chase, Higgins. You're already overloaded on the Bengals passing game. I really don't like that. DJ Moore, Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas. How can I improve? Trade one of the wide receivers for the Bengals. This is an obvious one. I love the rookie wide receiver strategy. You know that's something I like to do as well. But I would absolutely move on from one of those two wide receivers for the Bengals. It may be Jamar Chase, actually, because he's going to get such a great return that it actually might be worth making the deal, believe it or not. Booty Baller, would you accept Kincaid, Scary Terry, and a fourth for Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I already have Kittle? That's such a great return. The answer is yes, I would do it. I don't like giving up Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let me make that clear to everybody. But that's such a good return. Kincaid's going to be a top 3, top 4 tight end. Scary Terry's going to have value. A 4th rounder. The problem is I like it because Amon-Ra St. Brown's injury risk is high enough where I actually like the return. But then you can trade Kittle and maybe you trade Kittle and the 4th and try and get another wide receiver. You know, you're really wheeling and dealing there, but I think it's a good move actually to make. I have the 4th pick, says Parth Patel. I have 4th pick overall. I'm thinking Jamar Chase, Alvin Kamara at 2nd round, Cooper Kupp at 3 in my league. They won't fall later. Parth Patel, here's what I would say to you. You are living in like 2022. You need to, 2023, you need to come into this new year. I think that every player that you just said, you are valuing at least a pick, if not a round too early. For Jamar Chase, I think it's a pick too early, if not a couple. At Alvin Kamara, a round too early. Kupp, a round too early. So for me, I just don't like the players that you're selecting at the round. I would revisit the strategy. Do you think that if you believe in Cooper Kupp in the 3rd round, that's the one I actually can maybe buy the most? Alvin Kamara, at this point in his career, in that offense, I wouldn't take him in the 2nd round. There are other options. I like Pacheco more. I like Kyron Williams if he falls more. Jahmyr Gibbs may fall to that point in the 2nd round. I think Alvin Kamara's value has come way down. Jamar Chase at 4th overall. I think he is in a different position than CeeDee Lamb. I think Jamar Chase, I could see him sitting out, a greater chance that he sits out than CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to play week 1. But beyond that, Jamar Chase, as talented as he is, as much as I like Joe Burrow, I don't know. I just don't feel great about that one. Maybe you guys can talk me into it. I feel like there are reasons, like, is the Bengals window closing faster than we thought? Like, is Joe Burrow going to be healthy? Am I is Higgins going to be able to still be a part of this team in the future? I just don't know if I'm believing in Jamar Chase. There are other wide receivers I think I like more. Again, Amon-Ra St. Brown and the situation in Detroit seems very, very safe. Very safe. See, I'm not about Jefferson, because then, again, a lot of question marks. I think I like the most secure situation at wide receiver, outside of maybe Tyreek Hill, is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. 4th would be too early for me. 6th would be a good spot to take him. At 4th, I'm taking Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson. At the 4th spot, I'm getting one of these 4 players. CeeDee Lamb, Breece Hall, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson. One of those 4 players would be mine if I'm drafting in the first 4. Can you rank Hill, CMC, or Lamb? Zachary, interesting. A similar exercise as I just did. So it would be Lamb, CMC, and I think Tyreek Hill. It's close between CMC and Tyreek Hill. Both are going to regress. Both will regress because of age, because of injury, because of opposition. Last year, things went really well for CMC. I just don't see that repeating itself in the same way. So I think both are worthy of first-round picks. But we always need to be looking towards the future in fantasy football. It's so rare you get a Derrick Henry who goes like back-to-back seasons as the number 1 fantasy own. That is so rare. Do you guys remember the Sean Alexander year? Do you guys remember the Peyton Hillis year? It's not just in Madden. It's also in fantasy. These guys have like one great year where they dominate. They put up amazing numbers. And it's not that they fall off and they're just like gone the next year. It's that they slowly come into year like tier 2, tier 3, and they slowly fall off. I'm not saying Christian McCaffrey is just going to plummet, but could I see him getting hurt for 2, 3, 4 weeks of the season, and thus his fantasy value is not worth a first overall pick? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Thoughts on J.K. Dobbins? Grayson, I think J.K. Dobbins is really worth that like late draft lottery pick kind of play, which is he could end up being a really good sleeper play as an RB2 or a flex play, depending on how the Chargers use him. I still think that his value is probably going to be, ironically, in the red zone, and thus you're almost hoping he vultures touchdowns away from Justin Herbert and the passing game. But I think there's some value there. John, Adrian Peterson, I think is kind of an exception to the rule just because he was such a great fantasy own. But it's a good point, as in usually a running back has like that 1 year where they dominate in fantasy. And then they usually come back to the pack and it's someone else's year. If I had to throw a dart at the fantasy running back board of which back I think is ultimately going to be this year's number 1, I think it's Breece Hall, I think Kyren Williams, and I think Bijan Robinson are my top 3 cases for that player. And I do think a lot of this has to do with the fact the game is shifting towards passing and not just running, so their ability to both get rushing touchdowns but also be involved in the passing game, it's going to make a big difference. Is Amari Cooper a good flex for me this year? Absolutely. Don't have concerns about Watson. Amari Cooper is just incredibly steady. Jordan, can we send you our team and somehow... So don't do that. Subscribe on TikTok. I do subscriber-only shows at night on TikTok, and that's where you can share your entire team. We'll go through your waiver wire. We'll do all of that. I won't answer that in like my personal time because, like I have to have a life. But when I do subscriber-only shows, the whole point is you're getting something. Hence the subscription. When you subscribe on TikTok, we'll go through your team. We'll set your lineup. We'll talk about who your opponents are starting. I will literally give you personal attention, but that way the time is being compensated. So, who do I target in rounds 1 and 2 at pick 8 and in pick 10? It's a great question. More and more, I really like the combination of Jonathan Taylor and Kyren Williams. I've been talking to you guys about that a lot. If you want to go wide receiver, I really like Garrett Wilson in that 10 spot. But for me, I really like doubling up on the running backs. Again, if I could get Jonathan Taylor and Kyren Williams, I feel like one of those two guys is going to end up in the top 5 in running backs. That's highly valuable. You're outside the Breece Hall category. You're outside the Bijan Robinson category. You might be in the Amon-Ra Brown category. So if you wanted to go Amon-Ra St. Brown as a wide receiver and then Kyren Williams at 10, that would be a good move as well. Ricky, would you pick 5 and 6 be Tyreek and Kyren Williams? Man, you're in a league that's just got 5 people. If I'm drafting, I'm not moving Kyren Williams actually into the first round because I do think there are some question marks. I both think he could end up being the number 1 fantasy running back, but I also understand there are enough question marks where I wouldn't overvalue him right now. So that's where I'm both acknowledging his ceiling, but also acknowledging his present value right now. Quasmatic, thoughts on this trade? Evans and Singletary for DK and Najee. So I actually like the Evans and Singletary side of this. I think DK could still have a very good year, contract year for him. He could really break out. But Mike Evans, Singletary, I think that's a really solid side that may produce more consistent value, though it's not as brand heavy. ETN has much higher ceiling and upside over JT. I don't feel that way. And a lot of it has to do with the offenses that they're in, their injury history. I trust Jonathan Taylor way more than I trust ETN. I think ETN, I like him as a second running back. I like him if you're in a very big league and you went like wide receiver, and you need a running back. But I don't like ETN as much as others. Jackson, is Josh Allen Hurts worth it at 3.03 in a 10-man league, by the way? The answer is no. And I'm going to say this for everyone out there. The quarterback position is changing, much like the tight end position. The market for those positions is changing. You can get really good players at that position later on. So it is worth it to you to just wait. Even if it's in round 5 or 6, getting a running back in round 3, getting a top-tier wide receiver in round 3 is so important. The difference between Josh Allen's value this year and name that running back, name that wide receiver. Wow, I did it twice. Name that quarterback. The difference between Kyler Murray and Josh Allen. Think about where you're drafting those two players compared to the running back that you're drafting where you draft Josh Allen and Kyler Murray. Significantly different. That's like the difference between Travis Etienne and Zach Moss. That's a huge gap in running back. Quarterback, that's not that significant a gap. That's why I bring it up that way. Value running back, value wide receiver. Hi, I'm Toby. You think Zeke could have a Gus Edwards type year? Actually, yeah, that's a really good play. Hi, I'm Toby. I actually think that's a good comparison. Brent, can we repin Brent's question? I'm sorry, I missed it. Elijah, we'll do Elijah first, then let's repin the other one. CJ Stroud, way too early on Stroud. Also, Achan or Mike Evans, interesting there. I think I'd probably go Achan because running back has the upside. Mike Evans is consistent. That's why it's kind of hard to turn him away. But I still prefer the running back. CJ Stroud doesn't get rushing touchdowns unless in your league you're valuing passing touchdowns way more. It's not really in your favor. Brent, I drafted number 7, got Tyreek, then my second pick was Justin Jefferson. You think I am dumb for going? No. Brent, if I will never think someone's dumb for playing the board out and just taking the best player at the point in the draft that they're picking. I like having a strategy. I like going in saying this is what I'm going to do. But especially if you're at pick 7 or later in the first round, if you just see how things play out and you just take the best player on the board, you know what? I'm never going to boo you or heckle you for that or give you a hard time. I actually think getting Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson in the first 2 rounds is a brilliant move. You've locked in a wide receiver 1 in probably 6 weeks of the entire season. That's pretty remarkable. Just that on its own, if not more. So I like it. I actually think Justin Jefferson is your wide receiver 2. Okay, I can't argue with that. It's a great move. You just got lucky, so I'm not going to give that as advice to others. But play the board. I think it's a great idea. M. Made, thoughts on Cook and White? I think White's going to regress. He had such a good fantasy year last year. I just can't believe he duplicates it. Guys, look out for Cook. Buffalo is going to shift more towards a running game. I think he could have a really good year. How early would you take Garrett Wilson? Probably the first pick of the second round. I don't think he makes it into my first round. But again, I value running backs, so I probably value the running backs at the end of the first round. But Garrett Wilson, early second round, that's where I definitely look for him. Dibs? Dibbs, Walker the third, or Etienne. I don't know who Dibbs is. If it's Gibbs, I'm assuming it's Gibbs. I'll say Jahmyr Gibbs 1, Etienne 2, Walker 3. Should I be worried about Garrett Wilson since Aaron Rodgers got hurt? Did Aaron Rodgers get hurt today? Will he get hurt tomorrow? I don't know. I haven't heard today if Aaron Rodgers is suffering from a new injury. I'm just going to trust Garrett Wilson to be a talent, and I'm going to trust Aaron Rodgers to be healthy, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed on all of it. Is trading Wilson for Jacobs and Amari Cooper good? Yes, that's enough value in exchange. Yeah, that's actually solid value. Appreciate you guys being with us. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time we're live. Is it crazy if I take Gibbs over Breece Hall? Yeah, it is actually. If Aaron Rodgers is somehow hurt, maybe that changes things slightly. But Breece Hall is definitely a better own than Gibbs. Mark Gonzalez, you're the best, man. Appreciate you and everything that you do as a moderator for us. Appreciate all those that follow and subscribe. Bill Robinson, thank you for subscribing. I didn't do a subscriber-only show last night because I went out, and because I was socializing past the time I normally come on, I decided not to do one at like 11:30 at night. I will do one tonight. It'll probably be a little bit earlier because I want to see the Democratic National Convention wrap up. Biggest sleeper picks are Deontay Johnson and Scary Terry. What do you think? I think Scary Terry, I don't know about Deontay Johnson. Like, he could be, but I don't know. It's a lot of risk for me. Harrison Cornell, I had 5th pick and got Hall and Gibbs. Was it a good decision? You crushed it. If those were your first 2 rounds, I love it. There was a time people thought those guys could go 5 and 6 or 4 and 5 in the draft. The fact that you're getting them in round 1 and round 2, I love it. Yoltz Timmy Turner, we are drafting today. I was waiting for someone to bring it up. We are going to do an 8-man league, everybody. 8-man league. We are drafting. DM me on Instagram if you want to be a part of another league. We are drafting right now. If you guys want to participate, DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports, DM me on Instagram if you want to participate in a fantasy draft. That's what we've got going on right now. So if you want to participate, we are going to do another fantasy league for all those butt fumblers out there that want to compete against me. SJ, McConkey, Coleman, or Thomas Jr.? Thomas Jr. Thomas Jr. would be the one I'd want to own. J Love, Breece Hall, Etienne, Moore, Evans, Malik Neighbors, Cooper, Kyle Pitts, Nicolo Braco. That's a great team. Solid team. Really like it. Jonathan, just sent you a link. Appreciate you being with us, buddy. You're always great. Derek, who just hit me up on Instagram. You just got a link to the league. Go claim your spot, and that way you can participate. Nate Hollis, what's good? You just got a link for the league. Happy to have you participating in it. Josh, traded Gabe Davis for Darnell Mooney in a dynasty league. Did I get shafted? I don't know. Probably. It's a kind of a crazy trade in and of itself. So it's kind of a fun one, Josh. I don't know if it's going to make or break you, but I don't think you came out the better. If you guys have a fantasy question or a sports betting question, more than happy to help you out. DM me on Instagram if you want to be part of the draft we're going to do right now. Bobby wants to get in on it. There you go. Kai, JT, or Saquon? I'd go JT. I would go JT. I prefer him just slightly. Isaiah Hubbard. Let's see if there is space in the league. I just sent you a link so you can go claim a spot. It's an 8-man league, so it's going to go fast. Does A.J. Brown or D. Smith value change because of Dotson? It's a great question. If anyone's value were to change, I actually think it's probably Smith. But overall, I thought that Brown and Smith's value was going to come down. More because of the addition of Saquon, because the running game is going to get even more usage. Isaiah, I'm the 10th pick in a 10-man. What round do I get Josh Allen? If you could get him, so it's 1, 2. If you could get him in the 4th round, first pick of the 4th round, that would be the earliest. And even there, I'm not crazy about it. All the leagues we do, by the way, are for free, so you guys never worry about needing a fee. They're always for free. 4 spots have been filled, 4 spots to go. So if you want to participate in this fantasy football league, DM me on Instagram, everyone. Jake, should I start T. Higgins or Xavier Worthy? And thoughts on Lamar? I don't know. Starter sit decisions, we'll hold off on those until we get closer to week 1. I think that's a good tandem to have week-to-week matchups. Thoughts on Lamar? I think Lamar is going to finish as a top 3 fantasy quarterback again this year. So happy to hear that we've helped out a number of you guys last year or past years with your fantasy football leagues. That's why I do this. As you guys know, we obviously appreciate you guys contributing to the show. We're grateful for the sponsors we have, but we love talking sports because we love talking sports. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you get your questions in. That way you can participate in every conversation that we have, whether it's sports betting, fantasy sports, or just ranting about what's going on in the sports day. Make sure you're a member of this community. We certainly appreciate the loyal followers out there like Mark Gonzalez, IP Shade 45, John. So many of you guys take time out of your day every day to watch our show, and we are so extremely grateful for it. Make sure you do hit that follow button if you're new, because as all of our loyal followers will tell you, we're good content day in, day out. Tip of the cap to you, Rick. Thanks so much for supporting the show. Carr Casey trade Najee Harris for Worthy. If you're getting Worthy, I really like it. If you're getting Worthy, I like it. Couple spots left for this fantasy football draft. It is an 8-man PPR draft, season-long league. It's a league. If you want to participate, it's $0 buy-in, season-long league. If Chase doesn't play in the beginning of the season, could Higgins be a wide receiver 1? In those weeks, he will be. You got to think week 1, though. They're going up against the New England Patriots. Kind of interesting there. Patriots, obviously god-awful offensively, or the expectation is they will be. But defensively, they do have a couple of really good corners. Christian Gonzalez is going to be healthy week 1, so might not be a great matchup, actually, especially if Jamar Chase doesn't play. Now, I hope he doesn't play, if I can be selfish on this one, because a couple of weeks ago, I went through some of the early trends for week 1 of the NFL season from a betting standpoint, and Patriots plus 9.5 was like a phenomenal trend backing it. So I took the Patriots to cover plus 9.5. Jamar Chase doesn't play. You got to feel good about that one. Jake Perna, how do we join the 8-man league? DM me on Instagram, Buttfumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. There's one spot left. One spot left for this fantasy football league. It's an 8-man PPR league, $0 buy-in. Make sure you DM me on Instagram to be able to get in on the league. And that way we draft the moment that we fill it. Waka Flocka, great to see you. Cook and Ingram for Kelsey and Ridley. Wow, that's actually a really fair trade, to be honest. I actually think it's a really fair trade. Jason, I got Evans and Godwin. Do I keep both or trade? And for who? I would trade Godwin. Frankly, I would actually try to be a bit of a swindler. I would trade Godwin for like 2 players, one of the 2 being a rookie wide receiver. And that way you can, like a Brian Thomas Jr., and that way you may get the next Godwin, but get him at a discount. So I kind of like being a bit of a trade swindler. Josh, should I draft CeeDee Lamb? Yes, you should. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. One spot left for this 8-man PPR league. If you want to participate, DM me on Instagram right now. Buttfumble Sports, DM me on Instagram. Jake, you just DM'd me, so I'm giving you the link. Two-Tone, great to see you. Josh, thanks for hitting us up. You just got a link to the league. We have one spot left, so it's going to be a race to the finish line to see who gets the final spot. But once we fill up this draft, once we fill up every spot, we will draft right away. Again, we will do a subscriber-only show tonight. I'm thinking like 9:30. 9:30. Oh, league is filled, everybody. League is filled. We will do a subscriber-only show on TikTok tonight. I'm thinking like 9:30, and that way we'll probably go for like a half hour, and then I'll hop off so I can watch the DNC, see what those Dems are up to. Okay, time to do some drafting, everybody. This is an 8-man PPR league. We'll still be answering questions over on Instagram and on YouTube and on TikTok as well, but we'll be drafting along at the same time. This draft's going to start at 5:30, everybody, 5:30 my time. We'll make it 30 seconds per pick. 30 seconds per pick, and the draft order has been randomized. So everyone can get ready. We will start this draft in just about 4 minutes. Jay Hollywood, who should I take at number 2? I would either take CeeDee Lamb or Breece Hall. Whoever isn't taken first overall, I'd go with the other one. Watermelon Man, please, I need help. Can we pin Watermelon? Oh, there it is. Should I do Travis Kelce, Zay Flowers, and DeAndre Swift for Zach Moss and Garrett Wilson? Hell no. Wait a minute. If you're getting Kelce, I want the Kelce, Flowers, and Swift side. I want the Kelce, Flowers, and Swift side. So whatever side that is, Watermelon Man, that's the side I want. Get that side, because that's the side that's got the better return. Thanks so much for saying you love the content and the advice. We are grateful for it. I think I know that person. I think I know that guy. That Lanham guy. He's pretty creative. He's pretty good at what he does. Yeah, I think I know that guy. Is there somewhere to watch the draft? If you go onto YouTube, you can. If you watch over on YouTube, it's up on our screen so you can follow the draft. You can also watch it on Twitch and Kick. Luke, yeah, the hell no came in heavy on that one. Gavin, 10-man league, Mahomes, Cook, Jacobs, Chase, Wilson, Wilson, McBride, James Conner. Other than being a little overloaded on the Arizona offense, Gavin, it's a really strong team. I'll give it a B+. You don't have a clear-cut RB1, but you've got like 3 RB2s. I think it's a really good team. I'll give it a B+. If James Conner comes through like he has in past years, it might be an A-. Bill Robinson, buddy, I'm interested in drafting Richardson at QB for my starter. Love it, love it, love it. Now, I'm hearing a lot of things. I'm hearing some people say the dude's garbage, he's overrated in preseason. I don't care. I don't care in training camp. I actually care about fantasy points. When the guy gets on the field, he is a ultimate fantasy threat because of his legs and his massive throwing arm. Passes down the field. Mitchell is going to be a good fantasy own, not early in the year, but maybe midway through the season. Keep your eye on him. So I actually really like Anthony Richardson, despite what's being said right now on NFL Live and other places. So thoughts on Kenneth Walker this year? I think he's a good RB2. I think he's a really solid flex. I don't think he's an RB1. So if he's your running back 1, you may have problems. Dynasty, Achane or Kyren? Kyren Williams. Achane has blazing speed. He also has an injury history. And Kyren Williams, I feel like his situation might be a bit more clear for him. CMC for Godwin and Breece Hall. Yes. If you're getting the Godwin and Breece Hall side, I actually would do it. Because if I like Breece Hall more than CMC, then I'm just getting another wide receiver in the process. Should you trade Pickens? Depends who else you have. Nicholas, appreciate the kind words. Jake, I'm signed up from the link. Not sure if there's anything else I need to do from here. If you didn't get in the league, sorry. The league is filled, so we're about to draft, actually, in about 30 seconds, everyone. 30 seconds till the draft. Nicholas, appreciate the love. 10-man, 2 QB. Kyler, Deshaun, Kyren, Achane, CeeDee, Drake, Waddle, Pickens. Actually, I really like the team. I'm not crazy about Achane, Kyren, Deshaun. I actually think Kyron's a great play. I like Kyler. I think it's a really good team. For a 2 QB league, clearly you didn't overvalue quarterback. I think that's the right way to go. Breece Hall over CMC, Breece Hall over CMC, Coop 5 Mac, that's exactly what I would do. This draft is about to start in 5 seconds, everyone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Montanas, you are on the clock. An 8-man PPR league, we are drafting 30 seconds per pick. So Christian McCaffrey went first overall. I'm going to take Breece Hall with the 2nd overall pick. Means CeeDee Lamb falls to 3rd overall. That's probably where I would go here for those that are watching at home. So if running back goes 1-2, CeeDee Lamb would be my first wide receiver off the board. And that's what happens. CeeDee Lamb goes 3. At number 4, it gets interesting. I think Tyreek Hill is probably the right pick here. Bijan Robinson makes sense as well. If you wanted to go Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, you'd have a harder argument for me, but that's okay. Adrian, best running back. I think it's Breece Hall this year. Christian McCaffrey is probably 2nd or 3rd in terms of that. I think Bijan may end up being 2nd overall. 12-person league. If I have the first pick, it's going to be forever for my next pick. Yeah, that's why I'd get the running back. I'd make sure I'd get a top-tier running back because that's going to be a long wait. Thoughts on Amari Cooper? Much like Mike Evans, he's just a very stable play week in, week out. After Christian McCaffrey and Breece Hall went 1-2 in this league we're drafting, 3 wide receivers in a row. CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, and Jamar Chase. I'm actually thrilled about that. Bijan Robinson came off the board at 6th overall. I would expect we're going to have a run on running back pretty soon. Darcy, Amon-Ra St. Brown went 7th overall. Interesting. So 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers through the first 7 picks. Darcy just traded Anthony Richardson and Derrick Henry for JT and Kyler. I like the JT and Kyler side actually more, so I like the trade, though I think it's a very fair trade. Very fair. Very fair. Thoughts on Javonte? I wouldn't do it. Agus just got Saquon and Jonathan Taylor, so back-to-back running backs. Don't be surprised if there's a run on them. Oh, Justin Jefferson off the board next. So one team is Saquon and Jonathan Taylor. One team's Amon-Ra St. Brown and Justin Jefferson. Some teams that are doubling up on positions, but some good value at those positions when they're doing it. Garrett Wilson off the board. Very interesting. Very interesting. So there are some running backs that are still up on the board. I'm not big on Javonte. I'm not drafting the Denver Broncos in any possible way. A.J. Brown off the board. Man, there's actually been a run on wide receiver. Here I thought it would be running back where there's the run. Somehow Kyren Williams fell to me. So my first 2 picks of this draft are Breece Hall and Kyren Williams. That is remarkable, everyone. Obviously, I'm going to lean towards... Well, you think I know where I'm. You think you know where I'm going to go with the 3rd round pick. You don't actually. Wide receiver just came off. Puka Nacua. Where's the Montanas? Montana's with Patrick Mahomes. Way too early on that. I'm going to shock all you guys. I'm going to take Isaiah Pacheco. Maybe I'm not. He's got the same bye week as Kyren Williams. No, I'll do it. I'm okay with the bye week hell. I'm going to take Pacheco, and I'm going to get 3 top 15, you could argue 3 top 12 running backs in the first 3 rounds. First 3 rounds, and maybe I want to trade one of them, but it gives me incredible positioning to maneuver. Running back's the most valuable position. I just got 3 guys who could end up in the top 12. They could end up in the top 10. Breece Hall, Kyren Williams, and Isaiah Pacheco. There was a run on wide receiver in round 2. I think that's to my benefit. I'd rather load up on the running backs anyways. So Breece Hall, Kyren Williams were my first round and my second round pick in slot number 2. Isaiah Pacheco was the 3rd round pick. Track star, 10-man, Dak, CMC, Etienne, Adams, Kupp, Devontae, and Dolphins defense. Why the Dolphins defense? Am I missing something? I feel like the Dolphins defense got worse. It didn't get better. I don't like that pick at all. Rate my bench. Rice, Reed, Bowers, and Singletary. Frickin' love it. Aaron Medley. Solid, solid, solid bench. Thoughts on Richie in a super flex? Like it. Like it in a super flex. There was a run on running back in the 3rd round. That doesn't surprise me at all. Is it okay I took Hill at pick number 2? It's okay. It's not what I would have done. It's okay. I think he'll regress. A lot of people still believe he's the top wide receiver in the league, or at least in fantasy, he's the top wide receiver. So it's not a terrible play. It's just not what I would have done. By the way, Agus, I love your draft, dude. Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Drake London, and James Cook. Love what you've done. Really good draft by you. Well done, buddy. Justin Bailey, would you trade Chase and Kamara for Breece Hall and Devontae Adams or Smith? I like it. I do like the trade. I think I like it, obviously, more if it's Devontae Adams, I think. Thanks, IP Shade 45. Missed you, buddy. Great to see you. We were praising you earlier. James Cook, think he's going to have a really good year. Think he's going to break out. Think this is the kind of year in which James Cook becomes a great fantasy own next year. I think people are going to go next year that he's going to be a 1st or 2nd round pick next year based on what he does this year, potentially. About to make my 4th round pick. Oh, Sam Laporta just came off the board. That's okay. I need a wide receiver. Cooper Kupp in the 4th round, I'll do that. It's not someone I've been drafting in a lot of leagues, but in a 4th round, I'm willing to do that. Cooper Kupp in the 4th. Right now I have Breece Hall, Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp, and Isaiah Pacheco. Mike Evans was just taken. I probably would have taken him. I'll take Michael Pittman instead. So my 2 wide receivers are Cooper Kupp and Michael Pittman. I'm not crazy about it. I also don't love the fact I've overloaded on the Rams, but Cooper Kupp was the best wide receiver on the board at the time. So I like what I've got, but I have some work to do at wide receiver. Fortunately, wide receiver is such a deep position, not worried about it. Waka Flocka. My 2 wide receivers are Malik Neighbors and Waddle, both high upside guys, exactly. Lot of risk there, though. Both have reason to be worried. So I like them, but I would make sure you have a little bit more depth there at the wide receiver position because you may need them to be in tandem with somebody else. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jamar Chase. Sports Media 24/7. I'd go Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's going to be the #1 fantasy wide receiver this season if it's not CeeDee Lamb. How do you feel about Debo? I think Ayuk coming back means his value goes down. Can he stay healthy? He's disgruntled as well. I don't know. I have some doubts. I think there are weeks he'll be the old Debo, but I don't know if the consistency is going to be there like it has been in past years. 12-man, Richardson, Kamara, Javonte, Chase, Harrison, Debo. Do you like it? I think it's a solid B. I think the team's got question marks. It's probably closer to a B+. I'm probably discrediting it a little because of how I feel about certain players, but I think it's a solid B, B+. Who do I take at 1.04? One of these 4 players. Breece Hall, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, and I'd probably put Bijan Robinson in that category. You also could probably put Tyreek Hill. Taylor fade the Pirates money line. I'm going on the money line. We brought it up earlier. Since June 1st, when the Pirates are a home favorite of -140 or less, following a loss, they are undefeated. They're 9-0. And I just got Dalton Kincaid in the 6th round, an absolute steal. My starting lineup is absolutely loaded. Sorry for all of those who are participating in the league we're drafting right now because I'm going to win it. But the answer is yes, I really like the Pirates on the money line. My team so far, right now also, should I draft a quarterback? I'm right at that spot. I'm going to wait another round. DK Metcalf. Oh, that was a great pick. That was a great pick. Damn it, that was a great pick. I'm going to take David Montgomery, and I'm going to get even more depth at the running back position. Call me crazy, but now I can get exclusively wide receivers and tight ends. But, yeah. My running backs are Hall, Pacheco, Cook, and Connor. Went upside at wide receiver. Waka Flocka, you know that's my strategy. I love it, dog. A novel. What QBs available in the draft? In your draft right now, in mine right now, Joe Burrow. This is in the 7th round. Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, Tua Tagovailoa. I think you can find a lot of options. And again, it's not that you have to set it and forget it at every position. I like playing 2 quarterbacks. You can get Kyler Murray for some weeks, Jaden Daniel for some weeks, Joe Burrow for some weeks, and Dak Prescott for some. Playing them in tandem could be a really great move. You say it's tough, but depending on the matchup, if Dak Prescott plays a bad defense, he could go off and be a top fantasy quarterback that week. What you're really doing is you're saying, I want to find a way to draft a top 8 quarterback every single week. Sometimes that's who you drafted at the beginning of the year. Sometimes that's who you had on your bench. Sometimes it's off the waiver wire. And you'll be surprised. There's going to be a week this season where Geno Smith is a top 5 fantasy quarterback. I am guaranteeing it right now. If he stays healthy, there will be a week this year where Geno Smith is a top 5 fantasy quarterback. He'll probably be available. That's an example of there are so many options at quarterback. You just need to know how to play it week to week. Speaking of quarterback, Kyler Murray came off the board a little bit earlier. Joe Burrow's still there. I like Jordan Love. He's going to be there in a couple picks probably, but I'll take him now. So Jordan Love's going to be my quarterback. And now I'm living on the wide receiver and the tight end world. John, going to be week 1 versus Denver. By the way, I would say that's a great call other than Patrick Surtain, but you're probably right. Without Justin Simmons, that Denver defense probably isn't as good as it was last year, and it had struggles last year. So I actually love your idea there. Malik Neighbors just came off the board. The Montana's nice pick. I'm taking Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is available. I have Dalton Kincaid and Kyle Pitts. I shouldn't have done that, though. They have the same bye week. That was stupid. I saw that I could have 2 great tight ends, and I was like, oh, I should do that. Should I trade Olave or keep him? I'd keep him. Thoughts on Rashee Rice going mid-6th round? In a 10-man, I think that's about right. I think he's a wide receiver, too, in fantasy, so I actually think that's a good spot to get him. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys hit the follow button. Hit that follow button. Hit the like button. Tap your screen. Tap the like button or hit that like button. And, of course, if you are watching on TikTok or if you want to be a part of a subscriber-only show where we're going to answer your specific questions, not just the rapid fire, but like we will go back and forth with you and make sure that every angle of your draft, every part of your team is put together, not just tonight, but for the entirety of the year. Subscribe on TikTok. That's how we make sure we get out the advice to you guys in the amount that you really want, because it takes time. So the only way that I can kind of justify it or make the trade is to do it as a subscriber thing, because otherwise I'm just going to let people down. So subscribe on TikTok. You get a lot of personal attention. That's how we're going to do it. Aaron, Dak or Love? I went Jordan Love, but I think they're going to be probably similar value. Who to start week 1? Metcalf, Rashee Rice, or Scary Terry? I'm going to hold off on that just a little bit. I'm going to wait to see everything before I give starter sit decisions for week 1. Double QB, double flex. Josh A, Travis. Okay, this is just a crazy league, Packer hater. I'm a hater of stupid leagues. I'm not going to lie. I hate leagues that are like, just play rotisserie football then. Just like, it's just outlandish. So it's hard because I can't value things. You know, that's like telling me, how do I put this? That's like saying, how should I trade this stock if you can only own, you know, one commodity at a time, and that commodity has to be like once we get into certain variables, it's just not, you can't understand how the market's pricing itself. It's not worth it. So Packer hater, I'm going to skip your question. Mike Anzi, I believe in McLaurin more than Deontay Johnson. I could be wrong on that, but that's where I come out on it. I got pick number 2 in my draft. Who do I take? Either CeeDee Lamb or Breece Hall. CeeDee Lamb or Breece Hall. By the way, drafting a defense in the 11th round is too early, everyone. It's too early. Too early. Who are you looking for as your top 3 rookie receivers to take? My top 3 rookie wide receivers are going to be the obvious Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors, but outside of them, I think Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr. I'm really high on the 2 of them. And I'd probably say Xavier Worthy would be 3rd. I like Mitchell a lot. He's on that 4th. You know, he's probably right there on the fringes of that. I might be missing somebody. Oh, no. I still think Rome Odunze, there's just too many mouths to feed. I like him a lot, but I think I like Xavier Worthy more. I think I like the list I just came up with. So Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors are the obvious 1, 2. But outside of that, it's probably going to be Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., and Xavier Worthy in some kind of order there, with Mitchell of the Colts being that fringe 6th player. Why is Puka going so high in the draft? Because he had a phenomenal year last year, and I think a lot of people are just doubling down on that notion, believing he's young, talented, and he's going to duplicate that kind of success, though I don't necessarily think so. Thoughts on Garrett Wilson over JJ and AJ Brown? Not a terrible idea. I kind of like it as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy the entire year. Thank you so much, The Cooper Movie. Really appreciate you contributing to the show. Thanks for the confetti. You got to clean up around here. Too much confetti on the ground now. Hope you guys are loving the content and the conversation. Make sure you hit that follow button. No matter the platform, YouTube, hit that follow button. Instagram, hit that follow button. TikTok, subscribe. Noah Johnson, Keeper League. Do I keep Lamb in the 2nd or Ayuk? Lamb in the 2nd. Lamb in the 2nd. Reagan Cooper. Thoughts on a 12-man team? Kyler, Pacheco, Connor. Little overloaded already on the Arizona offense, so I don't like it from that perspective. Overall, I give the team like a solid B, B+, but a little overloaded on the Arizona offense. What team did Jalen Reagor land on? Yeah, where did he land? I'm blanking at the moment. Was it the Raiders? Someone pinned that. I'm blanking at the moment. Was it the Raiders? I'm not quite sure. You know someone who might have a really great breakout second year, and I just drafted him, so I'm saying it obviously because I'm a little triggered by it. Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jackson Smith-Njigba could have a monster second season, so just keep your eye on him. Just putting that one out there. Coleman on the Bills, if he's starting, I am not hearing great things, and I also think the Bills' offense is going to be as pass-happy as it was in the past, so I'm not quite there on that. I really like him, but not as much as I maybe did a few weeks ago. Here's what I'm hearing, and it kind of matches his college tape. Keon Coleman is not a big separation guy. He does not have amazing speed. He is a physical beast. He's kind of like a Kelvin Benjamin, where he can like body you up and just take the ball away. He's going to have spectacular catches. He's going to be a good wide receiver, but he's almost going to post you up more than he's going to beat you on deep passes. I think that will negatively impact his overall value. And the fact that the Bills, they need to figure out their passing game without Stephon Diggs in ways that I think other offenses don't. So I'm not as big on Coleman. He may turn into the wide receiver one over time, but it may take just that, a little bit of time for him to break through. Doesn't mean I don't like him. If you're in a 12 or 14 or 16-man league, I like him. If you're in a 10, 8, or 6-man league, probably you could get him on the waiver wire and you'd be fine. So I wouldn't waste a draft pick on him. What receiver should I aim in the mid-4th round? Mid-4th round, Olave, Cooper Kupp, Michael Pittman, Ayuk, Mike Evans. If Drake London were to fall and somehow end up there, I'd probably take him as well. Well, I'd definitely take him. I just don't know if he's going to be there. Young Wei Koo, keep your eye on that dude, man. Keep your eye on that guy as a kicker. Saying it now. Saying it now. Because the Atlanta offense could not maybe get a ton of touchdowns, but it might just get enough field goal opportunities that make it worth it for you. Keep your eye on Jameson Williams. I mentioned him a lot this year as well. Jameson Williams, keep your eye on him. He might be a nice sleeper pick. I just got him in the 15th round. That would be the right spot. You can still get him on the waiver wire, but that might be a nice play. Okay, everyone, we are wrapping up this fantasy draft. We are wrapping up the show. We've been live for about an hour and 15 so far, I believe. Let me see. Oh, just about an hour. Okay. We've been live for about an hour. Appreciate you guys watching the show, watching the draft as we go through every pick of the 15-man, 8-man PPR. Hope you guys enjoyed the content and the conversation. We will be live tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a subscriber-only show on TikTok. Subscriber-only show on TikTok where we answer your questions, as many as you want. We'll take our time. IP Shade 45, I hope you're going to be there for that. We will be live tonight at 9:30, so make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe on TikTok, because that's how we're going to be answering questions. If you don't subscribe, I think you get like 90 seconds to watch, and then or 60 seconds to watch, and then it kicks you out. Bill Robinson's going to be there. Again, that's 9:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Eastern Time. We'll probably be on for like a half hour, 45 minutes. We'll see how long people want to go for. But that's what we're going to do. We'll talk some fantasy football, help you guys out for your draft. Luke's going to be there. I look forward to it. Hopefully a lot of you guys take time out of your evening to jump on over. Again, subscriber-only show, TikTok, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, yeah, it's going to be a great time. Until then, hope you have a wonderful evening. If you want any of my baseball picks today, DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram to get all of my picks every single day. I give them away for free. I know we talked a lot of fantasy football, but I do my research on baseball every day for betting purposes. I love quantitative analysis. I love sports betting and fantasy sports and looking at the research side of it. So if you want to see every bet that I make every day for free, DM me on Instagram, and you can get access to those. And again, we will do a subscriber-only show at 9:30 tonight. 9:30 Eastern Time tonight. We will do a subscriber-only show for about a half hour, and then, get all your questions answered. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are going to join us tonight, and until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Goodbye.